Hey, what's going on, everybody? My culture presentation is on Ireland. Starting off, the history and background of Ireland. Ireland was originally a part of the British Commonwealth, where they've been under England's rule from the start of the 12th century under Queen Elizabeth I. Um, in the 19th century is when the Irish Home Rule gained traction and more people became Irish nationalists, where they wanted to separate from England. The Irish Home Rule is a movement that campaigned for self-government for Ireland within the United Kingdom. In Ireland, it was a dominant political movement of the Irish nationalism from 1870 to the end of World War One. And then in 1916, the Irish nationalists lost an Easter Rising in the capital of Dublin against the British rule, but the rebellion was stopped. But in that in the rebellion, since it was stopped, the separation gained a lot more popularity and traction in the country of Ireland. And then in 1919, the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, was formed, and they started a campaign against Britain. In 1921, a ceasefire was declared, and in January 1922, a faction of the Irish nationalists signed a peace treaty with Britain, calling for a partition of Ireland. And then a civil war broke out before the declaration of the Free Irish State on December 6, 1922, and ended with the victory of the Irish Free State over the Irish Republican forces in 1923. A constitution was adopted by the Irish people in 1937 and declared Ireland to be a sovereign, independent, democratic state. And the Irish Free State was named Erie. Characteristics. So Ireland has a couple of languages. The main one used is English language. The second one is Irish Gaelic, which is kind of very rare for someone to use and know how to use it. 30% of the population can speak it, or about 5% of the population uses it on a daily basis. Religion has been an important part of the Irish society since the ancient times. Before Christianity came to Ireland, the ancient Celtics followed a Druidic religious system, which is now a modern day pagan religion. And according to tradition, Saint Patrick is a 5th century Christian missionary and a bishop of Ireland, and arrived around 432 A.D. With the introduction of Christianity came additions and changes to traditions and cultures. Family is a huge part in the Irish culture. Um, where extended family is very close, as well as back in the day, everyone used to was very close, and they lived close together. Like, for instance, they're more likely to be neighbors. But now, like many families in the modern era, since urbanization, families are scattered throughout countries and cities. So that is still the case here, but family is still a very vital role in the Irish culture. When a family member or close friend passes away, it is common tradition for people to celebrate a person's life before and after the funeral. Often, the wake of the funeral continues with food and drinks in a local pub, while people sing songs and share stories about the persons they have lost. And then, the family member is usually buried in a family burial site. Traditions are common throughout Ireland and reflect the value of mateship and family for many Irish. Characteristics. In Ireland, the traditional family structure of a husband and wife is still the norm, but there is growing acceptance of other living arrangements. There are many alternative households, include single-parent households, single-parent families, couples without children, and LGBTQ plus couples with children. In turn, there is a growing tolerance within Ireland towards multiplicity of choices in family structure. Um, One reason is that being that Ireland's kind of dissing itself away from the Catholic views that are so conservative and so traditional. So that's the one thing that's really pushing towards the multiplicity of having all those different choices and its growing acceptance of everything. Um, like I said, Catholic would emphasize the traditional role of a mother uh, and dominating beliefs about women in Irish culture. This is changing gender norms and stereotypes. They're no longer the same as once they were determining a person's role or duty in the family. Indeed, with the high cost of living, it's common for both members of a couple to work. Gender equality is more common in the urban areas. This is the same type of instance that is shown in the United States, where more towards the bigger cities, gender equality and gender norms are more squashed. And then if you go more rural in the United States as well as rural in Ireland, you would find those more conservative and traditional views of gender norms and gender roles. The dating in the Irish culture is the same as is here in the United States. Views on marriage and abortion and divorce were once heavily informed the attitudes because of the Catholic Church. However, the church influence on such matters is diminishing. This is shown by Ireland having marriage equality and changing the constitution to protect the same-sex marriage. And I believe that was in 2015, so it was rather recent. Custom, rituals, and family traditions. Sports account for much of the Irish cultural identity. Most citizens are avid supporters. They take great pride in the national colors as well as flags and the sport in general. Most popular sports in Ireland are soccer, golf, hurling, Gaelic football, rugby, boxing, and cricket. I'm also meant to put MMA right there. Dancing is a huge in Ireland traditions that date back to when it was first settled. The river dance is one of the most famous one-wood dances, as well as they have jigs, reels, step dancing, Gaelic dances that made up the Irish dances in total and style. It is very unique and is known worldwide. The most defining custom of the Irish culture is the pub culture. Whether if you're in a small city or big city, you'll always find plenty of pubs to choose from. You probably get the most real and authentic Irish experience from being in a pub. But on top of that, there are rules and manners that you have to follow when being in a pub. There's just so respect and kind towards others. Traditional Irish parents have a mindset that a family that plays together, prays together, stays together. Young Irish kids can run wild. It's typically tolerated by their parents as good fun. This means that traditionally Irish family is large, rowdy, playful, and boisterous. Irish parents give their children a lot of freedom and encourage them to be independent and self-reliant while maintaining parental authority and secure a child bond. Irish holidays. There is a lot of Irish holidays, but some of them are kind of the same as what we celebrate in the United States. Just like the first couple, New Year's Day of 1st of January is celebrated the same as here in the United States. Usually they get together, they have food and celebrate with family. St. Patrick's Day, again, is huge. It is here in Ireland as it is in the United States. But they more celebrate St. Patrick's Day, not like the United States, where they celebrate more drinking and hanging out with friends. So the story behind St. Patrick was a missionary who came to Ireland and played an important role in converting Ireland's inhabitants to Christianity. And then, according to legend, he drove out all the snakes from the island, although these snakes were probably represented as a particular group of pagans and druids, as that was the original religion that was in Ireland from the start. Good Friday, it varies every year. It is an occasion for Christians, particularly Catholics, to commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus. In the Republic of Ireland, it's traditional today or the rest of rest and Christian worship, but not as public holiday. Then there's Easter, celebrated the same. It has the same meaning as it does here in the United States as it does there. May 2nd to 2nd of May is a public holiday. In the Republic of Ireland, it's traditional Celtic festival and is time to campaign for workers' rights. The June bank holiday is people take time to enjoy the spring weather and attend local cultural and sporting events. And the August bank holiday is a public holiday in the Republic of Ireland, where many people take a short vacation and visit cultural events in Ireland, or as well as just getting away. October bank holiday is the kind of the same ideas that we have in the United States. So it's October 31st, which is in the United States is Halloween. And then here it is a holiday where everything is closed. They have sporting events, food, dance, and music, as well as fashion and theater. And then finally, it is Halloween themes. This is where the idea of Halloween came from. That came to the United States is originally from Ireland because of the pagan religion. And then obviously there's Christmas, 25th of December. Again, it's to celebrate the birth of Jesus. It's celebrated with family and close friends, just like it is in the United States. And there's St. Stephen's Day, is the occasion to commemorate St. Stephen, a Christian martyr. Many people spend their day quietly with close friends and family. He is believed to be the first Christian martyr. I think I'm saying that right. He was stoned to death sometime around 33 CE. There's a couple of versions to the story. He was either stoned to death by, I think it was original, like the Viking soldiers. Um, and then I think the second story was he was stoned to death by, I think it was Britain's early soldiers, something like that. And then New Year's Eve, again, it's to celebrate the same way as it is in the United States. Besides, a lot of people start like to clean their homes. That's the only one difference in stocking up supplies. They do hold parties the same. They do the countdown and they celebrate with fireworks and that sort of thing. Facts and statistical information. Religion, 84% are Roman Catholic. The Church of Ireland is a Protestant religion, so that's 2.93%. Muslim is 1.1, Orthodox is 0.98, and then 5.88% say they have no religion. Climate, it is a very, very rainy climate where you can expect anywhere from 800 to 1,200 a year. And then population is estimated about 4,922,500 men. The estimated population is 4,921,500 people, and then men is about 2 million. Women is a little bit more, is about 2,483,000, where men is 238. 83% of the population is an Irish nationalist, so it's still a very dominating political group. And about 12% are not Irish nationalists. That's more than the northern part towards Great Britain is where you can find more than non-Irish nationalists. Since Ireland's gained its independence from England, the Catholic views of family life stayed pretty much traditional. In Ireland, not until 2015, when Ireland changed their constitution to support same-sex marriage, which also opened the door to be more accepting of the non-gender norms and equality of men and women. Is more accepting of divorce and single parents as well as same-sex parents, which is not always the case as it was back in the day. That wasn't very known for people to get divorced. Usually an Irish custom, once you get married, you stay married till death. That was a very important thing back in then. It's the same as abortion. That was just something that was very taboo and not heard of. So a lot of things are changing. Work and school. When it comes to business in Ireland, a handshake goes a long way, and it's crucial if you do so. And then if you do not shake hands, you can come off as insincere or insecure. The workplace is generally very relaxed, where you can banter, and having a good sense of humor and be able to take a joke can take you a long way in earning respect of people. On top of that, people take work very seriously. Where everyone is very committed to the job and doing their best. And this is also shown when we get to the educational part. It's very common for business meetings to take place in social places like pubs or golf course, where it's very relaxed and people can really be themselves and enjoy being around each other and enjoy the job. The most popular jobs, which is kind of shocking to me, is sales, and the one that was shocking was retail. And farming is huge. I mean, it's a very farming country. Education is very important to the Irish culture. Education is very competitive for students, and then when they do testing is huge because that can dictate what they will do later on in life. And then teaching is a very highly regarded profession. There's a lot of teachers in Ireland. They have quite an influx of jobs in there. Teaching is mainly more of a female-dominant profession till today. There's about 87% primary teachers that are female, and 71% of secondary teachers are also female. Um, when the Catholic Church had a really big impact on family customs and the sexist traditional gender roles, but since then they have steered away from those conservative views and started to open up to more progressive views where same-sex marriage is allowed and protected, and men are not the head of the households as the be the sole breadwinners they used to be. Now it is common for couples to split everything half and half, both work, both provide, and both have living their own money. Um, Again, like I said earlier, like you can find in the United States, especially down south, you can still find those same traditional conservative views, as there's still some places in Ireland that still do that. Um, Physical activity and leisure. Leisure is very important in Ireland. They have national holidays like we went over, like the June Bank Day and the August Bank Day, where they take small vacations. And one other one was where they go and enjoy culture and food and again sporting matches. Um, the pub culture is a very big leisure activity. It is very huge, where a lot of people go to socialize and have fun with friends and family. The most popular games that people like to play and watch in their past times is rugby, soccer, golf, boxing, MMA, Gaelic football, cricket. Have the biggest followings. Ireland has pumped out a lot of famous golfers, as well as probably one of the most well-known MMA and boxer, the notorious Conor McGregor. Um, the popular sports teach kids how to be competitive. Learn that the more you're committed, the more you put forth a lot of effort, the more you're going to get out of the sport. Also, how big family means that Irish way to draw people close and come together and bond over sport and have fun and enjoy it. There's nothing in the Irish culture like fasting that would cause complications to do physical activity. Lastly, there isn't any clothing in the Irish culture that would impede someone from participating in the physical activity. Community resources. The first community resources is a culture atlas. This provides a wealth of information on holidays, pub etiquette, the do's and don'ts of the manners, the business culture, like the shaking of hands and greeting people, religions, about all the religion history, greetings, how to greet somebody, and as well as family traditions. Britannica is also a good community resource because it gives a lot of geographical side of Ireland, like where the capitals are, roads and maps, and how to get to places, as well as big cities and important landmarks. It also gives insight and background history of how Ireland became to be what it is today. And the last resource is the history website, where they have a ton of insight of Ireland, when like it was first settled, how it was taken over by England when it separated, has all those facts and information of historical figures like celebrate like St. Patrick and St. Stephen. And lastly, they give you a lot of how their religion in Ireland has shaped their customs and traditions. And then lastly, my resources, and that is it. Thank you. If I can get this thing to stop recording.